Hello, my name is Billy Nash, and today I will be doing a Microsoft Excel tutorial on 3D summing. 3D summing is a tool that can be used in Microsoft Excel that allows you to use a function on one spreadsheet that takes values and uses values from the other spreadsheets you have open in your workbook. And here in the first example, it'll be a simple one to kind of show you what exactly I'm talking about. So disregard the table below us for this first example. So to do a 3D summing function, it's the same. You'll start out the same as a regular sum function. We'll start by typing equals sum, select our function. And now what we're going to do is the values that we want to sum are on these other spreadsheets here. So we're going to click on this first spreadsheet that we want to take the value from, which would be this one here, and that's the value we're going to want. But before we click on that cell, we're going to then push shift and click on the last tab we want to sum. So we want to sum all three of these tabs here. So we'll click on the knives tab also while holding shift. And now up here it says forks through knives. So it's referring to those spreadsheets, the cells in those spreadsheets. And now we don't put a comma or anything. We just click on the cell or highlight the range of cells that we want to use. So for this one, we just want this B2 cell here. So we'll click on that and then press enter, and it brings us back to our original spreadsheet, and it gave us a value of 170,000. And so it summed the three values in B2 from these three spreadsheets. So 50,000 plus 65,000 plus 55,000, 70,000. So that's how 3D summing works. And you can use the 3D. It doesn't have to be 3D summing. You could do 3D averaging or a variety of other cells. For example, if we did an average, we could do equals average. Click on that. And then do the same thing. Just click on our first tab or spreadsheet, hold shift, click on the second one, click on the cell that we wanted to use in our spreadsheets, enter, and then now we're getting an average of 556 for those three values. So that's the basics of how a 3D function works. So now let's go on to our second example here, where we have a sales table of 5 salespeople and their sales for the month. And down here we have their sales are on these spreadsheets in different tabs. We have their sales numbers for selling forks, spoons, and knives. And these are their numbers for their sales numbers for the year for forks, then spoons, and then knives. And then here we have our total tab. So what we want to do here is fill in this table with the total sales for the year for each month for our 5 salespeople while using a 3D summing function. So we can do it a number of different ways, or we'll start by using our similar to the first example. We'll just type equals sum and select our function, and we'll go down here and click our first tab we want to reference, hold shift, and now we have that one, and we'll just click our first cell here and enter, and now it's summed up Bob's sales for spoons, forks, and knives for January as 543. And now we can drag our formula and copy it to the rest of the spreadsheet, and then copy it down. And now we have the total sales for each individual in each month, as well as the total sales for the year for each individual, as well as and the total sales overall. So we could do that. That's one way of how we can use the 3D summing function. And this total sales, maybe we just wanted to get right to that number instead of having it all spread out like this. We could have simply gone here, type our sum function again, equals sum. Click on our first tab, shift, there, and then simply highlighting the whole table and clicking enter. Now it went and just summed up all those numbers in one function versus having it do an individual function for this entire spreadsheet, as well as the additional summing functions, and it gave us the same number, as you can see. So that's how 3D summing can be used in Microsoft Excel to quickly add up data and do other uses in spreadsheets. And for this one, it was pretty quick just because there's 3 tabs, but maybe instead of just, maybe it was it'll be a workbook with a tab for each month of the year, so you'd be doing it for 12 tabs. And this, in that case, 3D summing would definitely be a good option. But pitfalls for 3D summing is that you need to make sure the cells that you want to sum and this are all in from your spreadsheets are all in the same spot. So for forks, or for all of our spreadsheets here, the first Bob's January sales are in this B10 cell for all of our spreadsheets, because if they weren't, it would miss that number, or it would add something we didn't want. For example, if we added a line here, that would mess up our function over here, and you see the numbers have changed, and our total had changed over here because now it's summing. It's not getting this bottom line here. So that is how you can use 3D summing.